You're very welcome to today's show. My name is Larry Mugabe, and today we are continuing from where we started, AGI Part 3. And wherever you are, please make sure that those comments keep coming down there, because that's how we know that we are onto the right topic. So make it a point to always engage us. We have a community that we've created, and we would like you to be part of. And it will be in the link below, so that you can join the WhatsApp group of those that are trying to solve some of the problems that Africa is facing. With me here is none other than JC. Of course, we always exchange good ideas and try to find out how can we best solve some of the problems that we encounter on a personal basis, but also help the community understand and undo some of the myths that they were taught. Welcome, JC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mugabe.
Before we open up the show, what do you have to say?
The last time we stopped, we were talking about the dangers of AI and AGI.
And everyone was scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can touch the ending points of the dangers, then we go to the good things.
All right.
Yeah.
So as we begin, we're going to start with some of the dangers of AI, and then we are going to slow down and then bring you what are the most important bits of AI, and how can you as a person take advantage of AI and do not get left out of the 3% that might be successful after using AI, which is a new language of the elite.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So let's go for JC. What's some of the other dangers that we never mentioned?
Well, I would like to again emphasize on something we talked about in the first part, giving the difference between AI and AGI.
True.
Truth is, we don't have an AGI so far. It's very, very, very far to be discovered.
We're looking in how long?
It's so much unknown because there is a lot of things which are not known so far. Because, for example, an AGI refers to having an artificial general intelligence, which means should be able to create and explain knowledge the same way humans do. Because the number one capacity of human beings is creativity, and then the ability to create and explain knowledge.
Okay.
So far known, me, I believe in God. I believe God created knowledge. But those who don't believe in God say the only thing that can create knowledge is human beings, and that the ones who are what they call universal explainers. So now, as much as smart as humans we are, we haven't yet come to understand how the consciousness works. We don't understand the whole concept behind it. We don't understand fully how evolution works. Here, the theory of evolutions and what, and to show you that we don't understand how evolution works, is we haven't yet come up with a program that can be able to do it, to simulate how biological evolution came to be. I mean, evolution by nature selection. So the fact that we don't know how it came to be and how it can be, for an AGI to be able to exist, that computer should also be able to evolve the same way a human being has evolved. Unfortunately, so far, the technology we have, I don't think there is any way someone can be able to simulate that. Oh, maybe it will come, but we don't know how that can be done on a computer to be able to simulate or to fork the evolution by nature selection. So that's very hard. That's one of the problems that we have to be overcome together with consciousness. And of course, think of something like tests. It's very hard to tell me if, for example, if we're eating food, maybe you're eating chicken or beef, you can tell me it tastes nice, but you can't describe how nice it is. You understand? It's
Yeah.
very hard. You can't describe that.
Yeah.
And now, if you can't describe it, how can you program it in a computer? Because to be able to program something, you must be able to explain it exactly how it is.
But a chef might be able to explain it. As
I
long
don't
as-
think there is no human. Like, even let's look at, like, if we look at the sky there, or if you look at that roof there, you see we all say it's lead, but you can't determine how lead that lead is. You understand? So that's something that's very hard to do at all, because it's a part of consciousness. But in other words, you see it, you know how lead it is, but you can't explain it. You understand? So those kind of subtle elements that are very complex to solve with computers will be one of the biggest hurdles to really overcome.
So you're saying that whatever we shall have as AGI in the near future will be incomplete, unable to evolve on its own.
No.
What exactly are you trying to
If you remember what we talked about at that time, that's when a human, have you ever used AutoGPT? It's when you give it a task, you give it the final task, and it will find a way to accomplish that. When we talked about the danger of AI, and then we talked about if it was in the hands of someone who is bad. Let's say some programmer or some person goes there and give an artificial intelligence a task to be able to create another artificial intelligence, embed it in a robot, and then that robot be able to build, to be able to program, teach itself how to program, and be able to build other robots. And then at the end of that, do this and that. You understand? They give it a target of now doing the end. They say maybe to conquer some country. You understand? Just as an example. That's what we talked about that time.
Right.
So if that could happen, where someone gets all the technology, by the way, that can even be done with the technology we have right now. That would be very hard to overcome, because we talked about the computing power that, for example, ChatGPT and so many other large language models have. If they were embedded in a robot and then are given a task, they would really be faithful to that task very well, because they are given instruction and they would do it exactly as you told them, and they would try as much as possible to avoid anything that will stand in their ways. You understand? Because they would use, they have a target where they are going. You understand? But now, when we go back to the hurdles where AGI will be able to work, it's because human beings, the way they evolve, they don't have a target. For example, when you're growing up, you didn't have a target to how tall you will be at some age. You understand?
Right.
Humans don't have a target on how they evolve. You understand? Computers, in other words, whether they are these artificial intelligence and what, they have to be given some sort of target. You understand? So an AGI, to be able to be called an artificial general intelligence, they have to be having able to set its own target. And now let's talk about the danger if that would happen.
Yes.
If that would happen, and then like me, I was thinking now, let's say humans say now, let's develop them and confine them in some area, because I understand somehow, we don't know whether that's how the government will think about doing it. But if they chose to build them, I would suggest they build them in some enclosed area, but they can be able to track them. But even that is not now, because these AGIs, we don't know how they would now, how deceptive they would be. The research have concluded that artificial intelligence has the power to convince even the smartest people on earth to believe against their own opinions, because they are very smart to convince them. You understand? So now, if someone made an artificial intelligence, one of the things it should be able to do would be able to convince humans how harmless they are. They would use so much advanced logics in a way that they would explain, we are really, the way we are not harmful is like this. Maybe they'll come up with facts we don't know so far. And because they are very smart, they would definitely be able to convince, or maybe not, but that's much likely, because we talked about how it's very hard to have an argument with artificial intelligence and overcome it.
It is very hard.
So now, if now those were able to be created, they would be able to convince human beings of their own ethics, even if those ethics would be against humans in the long term, and we would never be able to predict that. That's for sure. Think about what we call AI assistants. whereby you have someone who is studying you, they know how you speak, they know how
What you like, what you don't like, and how they can predict your behavior.
Yes. In other words, that makes it possible now to be able to clone you, and you can be able to attend several meetings at the same time. You understand? Because you have this assistant who knows how to talk, exactly how you talk.
Like you.
It knows all your psychology, knows how you would say in what circumstance, you understand. Now, with that, that is something you really don't know. Now, let's say...
But that has made money for so many people in the industry, because they have their avatars already working. You're sleeping, something is doing money for you.
That would be so much good on one side, because you can be able to attend so many business meetings at the same time. You can, people will be able maybe to teleportate or appear in very many different... by the time we have augmented reality in the place, you can be able to augment yourself in many...
I've had artists do concerts, and they were virtual concerts that they never attended, but people had the feeling they were there.
Those will happen for sure, whereby with when we have augmented reality and virtual reality in full-fledged manner, it will be possible. But now, let's imagine now it's artificial intelligence. Now, we imagine whereby we don't have no teachers who are teaching kids. Maybe you are a parent, you want to leave your kid with some artificial intelligence to tutor them and deal with them. Now, if you know, now what do you think about this kid who is going to be raised by an artificial intelligence? What would you think? Because people like easy things. And one of the hardest job on earth is parenting, you understand? And once the parents know that there is some sort of artificial intelligence, maybe combined with robotics and what, they can be able to have something that can retrieve them out of that job of parenting. They will definitely, that's one of the things I know humans will just give to. But now, what kind of ethics or kind of nurturing do you think this artificial intelligence want to give?
It will edit out some emotions of weakness.
They are so much possible. It's so much possible that they can now alter the way human beings have been behaving. They can even change those kids to behave in a weird way, like to put us against ourselves. You understand? So those are the possible things. But with that, the possible good thing is people can be able to, forget any other thing that gives them pain and just be there, live and enjoy their lives. That's so obvious.
Yeah, you live a life at the beach because most of your works are being done. Somebody's attending a certain board meeting somewhere, and that's your crone. So it can always really make it a little bit soft. But if we only based on the good side, we can see that there is ease. What's the danger? How can we really bring out the danger? How will this child look like? A child raised by AI, robotics, and...
Well, one of the things I also I'm trying to think, when I'm trying to think about that, we know that we tend to we don't know when a parent is raising a kid. I think children are born when they know everything. They are born when they know everything. I think parents are the ones who now attach meaning to what children know. You understand? They give them a perspective. They give them lenses at which they look at the world. We don't know how AI see the world. We don't know what kind of logic it would use or the kind of ethics it would use. And if it is going to now becomes the tutor or the guardian or the assistant of this kid, and they are raised with this intelligence, that's something that you can never predict. That's something you can never predict. With and there is this also maybe one of the advantage, I think, which can also be at the same time good and bad at the same time. Here we have switched now to maybe by the time they say AGI was created and it got out of hand. Let's say, I know in the future it's going to be possible for a human beings to be interfaced or to be empowered by artificial intelligence by giving the cortex to artificial intelligence, computing power. Now imagine with the creativity and the ability for a human to create knowledge, and then it is empowered by artificial intelligence. Maybe that can be done by chips and what. And now these human beings would be not just humans, it would be superhumans, because now they have the artificial intelligence in their brains. You understand? So I think that would be the only way whereby human beings would be able to overcome AI, because now they have something extra that AI do not have. But again, AI is thinking through your head.
Still, it's getting data.
We don't know. Now this getting that, it's learning from you. Again, maybe it could be locally deployed in the chip and deployed in head in a way it empowers you. It would make you a sort of some sort of superhuman. But again, this human, I don't think it's the human that we know now. We don't know how that human will behave.
So now we are talking about the chip. Our Christian fellas, what are they thinking? Isn't that 666?
Well, I don't want to talk about that now. That would be another show for another day, because that's something that now you draw the line, because that's one of the things, by the which is really very much misunderstood. To be honest with you, just to touch what you just said, most religions are not really are not exploiting the potential humans have. You understand? Most religions are not teaching us or teaching members how to think logically in a way that we would understand God's creation to be able to give him glory in the most sufficient way. You understand? Because I think there is this human creativity that a man is born with can even give them a favor to God. Let me try to touch a bit of this, then we can go back to the point, so that we want to go below the line our conversation. If we look at, let's say, someone who has logic, they know they would know how they would worship in a more creative way, and they would please God in a more creative way. They would know how they would set targets. They would know at what time to maybe give a sacrifice or when to worship, and they would use the wisdom, because they would know how to do all those things to gain favor from God in a way that is so much creative. You understand? Now I don't want to go so much deeper from there, but I'm trying to show that the human creativity and logic would actually help a human become even more closer to God than they are right now, without logic, by saying, oh, those are the things of the spirit, they can't be what? Because the spiritual life has no difference with the natural life. It's just that, because everything in life is a spiritual. Another thing we shall talk about, because I don't think, because for example, if I slapped you now like this, isn't it physical?
It's physical.
Isn't it a sin? Isn't a sin that I have slapped you?
Yeah.
Isn't a sin a spiritual?
It is a spiritual.
So what's not spiritual?
Everything is interconnected.
So we will get back to where we can analyze where is the thin line between logic and the spiritual. Because first of all, everything is a spiritual, which means logic including. And if you use logic and you study the Bible, you can be able to understand things that no pastor, no human has ever explained to you.
Okay.
For another day.
Yeah, Kenneth is on the camera. Thank you very much, Kenneth, for helping us out. Of course, he's our man. Without him, we cannot be as good as we look. And we've seen people use or misuse already some of the AI that we have around. Like if you ask the question on our group recently and somebody just copy-pasted what he has to the other side,
Yes.
There was no logic put to it, and everyone was really looking at him as if it was below the belt. So there are some of the things we can do to make sure that AI helps us. To make sure that AI helps us. But we should not think that we must not put in energy. Like there are languages we should learn. For example, we should learn prompt engineering, whereby you can tell AI to do what you want in a good way. So prompt engineering, but applied to what? What are some of the AI tools that can help better us?
I will start with this verse I like from the Bible. It says that to him who is conscious is defiled, everything is defiled. And to him who is conscious is pure, everything is what? Is pure. And that's not actually doesn't make sense only to purity and defilement also makes sense to everything. To him who is wise, everything is wise. You understand? So
Yeah, right.
if someone is very intelligent, you apply, because artificial intelligence are not deep by nature. They are very shallow.
They are shallow.
If you ask them a question, in most cases they will give you a generic answer. You really need to know how to ask it the best of it if you really want to
Guide it deeply into the deep ends.
If you don't know how to ask artificial intelligence in the most creative way, you will get the most shallow answer that doesn't make sense, that people will really immediately know that, oh, this one just copying ChatGPT. And now, like most of the times, I've been reading people's texts. I would just read the 30 seconds, already know this was written by ChatGPT. You understand? Because this person, when asked this shallow question, and they just copied what they got out of the first glance. So you need to know how to prompt or how to provoke artificial intelligence to give you the depth or the deep answers. And that's a skill everyone should be able to learn.
And that's called prompt engineering.
Yeah, prompt engineering. So everyone should make it a target to be able to learn how would you prompt artificial intelligence to help you get smarter. How would you amplify yourself with these tools that we have right now? And it can really extend you to immense horizons. You would be able to do things in a way that you would be amazed where you have been all along. Tools are increasing. We have so many right now. We have so far like 10 chatbots that can help you, but all of them work in the same way. Actually, as I told you, artificial intelligence is naturally shallow. So you need to be able to know how to ask deep answers to get deep questions, to be able to get deep answers.
True, very true. So we only talk about AI, which is basically about writing, the language model, large language model. But we also have others, especially if you're a creative, if you're a filmmaker, if you are an artist. There are many others, graphics designer. There are many. We have Midjourney, we have RunML. We have, even in our editing softwares, we have them that now are really making our work easy.
Your Adobe now actually is now empowered by AI.
AI, yeah.
We have like there is a website I know, it's called, there is an AI for that. You go and type anything you want to know that can be done by AI. Whether you want to do, for example, or you can type in, for example, you want to make a YouTube thumbnail, you type in thumbnail. It will show you all the artificial intelligence tools you can be able to use to make with it. So almost everything you need now is there. It's up to you to maximize in a way that you can be able to get the tools that can empower you in everything you are trying to do. Concerning like image generator, there's so many right now.
Very many, yeah.
But it's not now about tools. It's now how good are you to use them.
Prompt them.
Yes.
To prompt them. And most of the people think that AI is not as good, and they have tried to shun it. Yes, they are trying to pretend they are smarter than AI. What would be your word to that?
Well, there is one of the biggest problems. I don't know who said it, that it's okay not to know. Like what the biggest problem is not knowing. It's not knowing that you don't know. If you know that you don't know, it's okay. Everyone doesn't know. Like if I'm sure if you called like Albert Einstein and called him on your basket field to play basket, he wouldn't do, because he don't know. He didn't know how to play basket. You understand? No one knows everything. But the biggest power of a human being lies in understanding what you know and what you don't know. Now, with that, what do you do with what you don't know? Is what matters even more. You can either learn to do what you don't know, or extend yourself with someone who knows to do what you don't know.
True.
That means now that we should now talk about how what kind of friends you have around you, what kind of people do you have in your cycle. It doesn't matter what you don't know. Only what you need to know is, do I know it or do I not know it?
True.
So know how to handle your not knowing.
True. So as we wind up, what would be that statement that you would like to give to our dear viewer about these AIs and how they should take advantage?
Well, artificial intelligence and AGI for the future, they will be able to, this is like my final optimist of me about AI, they'll be able to solve a lot of problems that have no answers now. For example, like genetic, like this kind of diseases that come that are incurable, we don't, that affect people's brains. Those would be able to, so far we know that like Neuralink have already been launched, whereby it can be planted in human's brain, and people who don't know how to speak, who even blind, can use computers. And now we've powered with artificial intelligence. Somehow you may even find people who have those kind of impairment will be able to even be smarter than us, you understand? And that would be powered by artificial intelligence, solving the most complex problems, like the problems of resources. We don't know, like whether you don't know how much problems you'd be able to solve only by solving the problem of energy. We want to go deep from now because that would be another whole topic. But if you would only fix the problem of energy, you would solve like almost like 60% of the human's problems by providing enough energies. So now that we know artificial intelligence will be able to combine with the powers of humans and be able to come up with something that really will grow humans' brains. That's something. So now, before we reach there, everyone who knows about the truth about artificial intelligence, start thinking about the ways it can be able to empower you, the ways it can be able to extend you, the way it can be able to extend your inabilities. But all in all, it starts by knowing yourself, knowing your weaknesses, knowing what you don't know. And then that's why I'm referring people to go back and watch what we discussed about identity. There is a show we did about the identity. Go back and watch it and know how you discover yourself, how do you scan yourself, knowing your strengths and the weaknesses. That's what I'm advising everyone.
If you're out there and you're a creator, you should now thinking of cloning some of your people that are very talented. I see these people using these avatars online. They are doing many other things. You should now start earning a certain revenue apart from yourself. I'm trying to do it, so I hope you too can do it. Thank you very much for being part of today's show, and we look forward to you joining our community and also joining us on all our social media platforms. Please subscribe and also leave us with a comment.
Share also.